I don't know about you, but one of my favorite go-to comfort foods is tomato soup. And today I'm making a version that includes gluten-free cheesy croutons. And the croutons are going to be made with polenta, a totally gluten-free product. Start off in a classic way for making a soup by mincing an onion and some garlic, 1 clove of garlic. To keep this gluten-free, this soup is also not thickened with flour. Sometimes I put a little bit of flour in while I'm sauteing my onion for extra silkiness. I'm not doing that this time. And then 1 clove of garlic minced. You're gonna cook this in a medium saucepan. Heat a saucepan on medium-high heat and add 2 tablespoons of oil, olive oil, and then your onion and garlic. You wanna cook this until they're translucent before you add the rest of the ingredients. So that could take 8 to 10 minutes or even less. Then add 1 28-ounce can of whole peeled tomatoes in their juice, with their juice, carefully. And if you want this to be vegetarian, and it's vegetarian week, so I do, add 1.5 cups of water. You can also use vegetable stock if you want. 1/2 teaspoon of sugar, just to add a little bit of sweetness, and then some salt. Not too much, because the tomatoes already have salt. You can season again later anyway. Bring it to a boil and then cook partially covered until everything, all the flavors have melted together and it's reduced just a little bit, about 20 minutes. And while you're waiting for it to cook, you can make your cheesy, gluten-free croutons. ABP it up, guys. I feel like it's been a while since I've said that. Always be prepping. I'm gonna make my polenta croutons right now, and I have some basil here for later. I have prepared polenta from a tube. You can also make your own if you want to. You need about 2 cups of 3/4 inch cubes of polenta. 2/3 of this log. You can make more if you want to, but you don't need that many. The great thing about this is they have a fantastic texture, gluten-free, as I mentioned earlier, and delicious in their own right. You can make them even if you're not gluten-free. If you want to make your own polenta for this, just cook some polenta. You can use instant or regular, and then spread it into an oiled baking dish or like a loaf pan or something like that, and then let it sit in the refrigerator, and then you can cut it up. Same thing. Onto a little baking sheet. This prepared polenta is really convenient though, because it does save on time and mess and pots and pans and all of that stuff. So I'm a big fan. Drizzle with some oil, a couple tablespoons. Shake it around and then season with a little bit of salt, but not too much, because you're going to sprinkle this with Parmesan cheese at the end, so you don't want them to be too salty. Did you notice how little that pinch was? Put them in the broiler until they're golden and crispy. That should just take a couple minutes. When your croutons are nice and golden brown, get them out of the oven. Toss your golden and crispy croutons with a little bit of Parmesan cheese, a couple tablespoons. Toss the warm croutons with a little bit of Parmesan cheese, and the oil on the croutons should make the cheese stick. And then we can puree up the soup. Today I'm going to puree this soup with an immersion blender, one of my favorite convenience tools. I love it. The one thing that I want to make sure of when I'm using my immersion blender is that the little holes, see these little holes, that they're covered by the liquid. If they're not, it spits liquid out at you. So keep that in mind, especially if you're pureeing a hot liquid. She says, stepping back in fear. You can tip your pot a little bit too, that helps. You want a little bit of richness, add a couple tablespoons of heavy cream. Stir it in. Just a tiny bit. You really don't need a lot. It goes a long way. And then it's ready to serve. If you feel like it's just a little bit thick, you can add a little bit of water, but don't go too crazy. You're going to water down all that delicious flavor that you built up. And eat. Could not be cozier or more comforting. Perfect. I've just gone ice skating and now I'm coming back inside and I want something yummy and hearty and vegetarian to eat. How about some of those croutons? Make more of these croutons because you're just going to snack on them, so you might run out. And a little bit of basil, if you have it, if it's available. If not, don't worry about it. warm and delicious and gluten-free and couldn't be cozier. I, for one, am a convert. Hi guys, thanks for watching this video. Be sure to click here if you want to subscribe and click over here if you want to continue watching more great videos like this.